Welcome, everyone, to the Better Love Movement podcast, where you will finally learn how to intentionally do dating and relationships right. My name is Anita Stoudemire, and I'm a licensed professional therapist and your personal love mentor. I've worked with thousands of singles and couples, giving them the skills needed to attract and keep the amazing love they desire. It's my heart's work to help people to get the skills needed to not only become the very best versions of themselves, but to help them grow and evolve emotionally and relationally. You can absolutely have the romantic relationship of your dreams. Come and let me show you how. Hey, hello everyone. It is Anita back again this week with another podcast episode. This week we are in episode number 97, and it is entitled Couples Only. Avoid talking to everyone about your relationship. So we are staying with the couples only theme. I had talked with you all a few weeks back about doing a series of podcast episodes for my ladies who are in relationships or married, and talking to the couples about some skills and some tools and some concerns and issues that a lot of questions that I get from ladies who are in relationships or who are married. And so that advice can be a little bit different than to my single ladies. So I wanted to take a few weeks to talk with my couples or my ladies who are in relationships. So today we are talking all about keeping your private life private and avoiding the need you may have to talk with others about what's going on in your relationship. And this episode kind of hits close to home. This is one of those things that I myself have really struggled with over the years. So being in relationships with men, when I was married, the last two relationships I had, I really struggled with this one. And so I had to come up with a theory on how to manage this, because one of the things, if you've been listening to me for any length of time, one of the things that I truly believe is that husbands and wives, boyfriends and girlfriends, should not be best friends. And I've gotten some flack for that. I've gotten a couple folks saying, what? I thought your husband and your wife, you're supposed to be best friends. Your man's supposed to be your best friend. Your lady's supposed to be your best friend. I do believe that they are a friend, that you are friends with your partner. But when I think about best friend, right? And I've had a few best friends, best girlfriends. I've had some pretty good guy friends too. These are people that I am speaking to about things that won't create a rift in our relationship. It won't create jealousy in our relationship. It won't create those hard feelings, right? So think about the things that you could tell a girlfriend who's a best friend that you probably shouldn't be telling your husband or your boyfriend. We got to be honest about that. And because I believe in having and maintaining polarity in romantic relationships, I believe that adopting this best friend type of scenario, that it could in fact kill the romance. It could kill the sexual tension or the spark. And so I want to keep my romantic life with my partner romantic and sexy and sensual and full of spice. So there's things that I'm probably not going to tell them. Okay, here's an example. If you're best friends with your husband or best friends with your wife, and you work with someone and you find that person attractive, or something about them that they do or say or whatever you find attractive, you find yourself, kind of being like, interesting, right? you're probably not going to go home and tell your husband or your wife, or at least you shouldn't. Because I can guarantee you that's not going to turn out the way you think. That is, if anything, only going to create an insecurity in your partner towards this person that you work with. That's just not a good idea. And I've seen this play out in some of the couples that I have been in therapy with or have coached. I've actually seen this firsthand. And the first thing I'm thinking is, why did you come home and tell her that? Why did you come home and tell him that? That's, part of this problem is that's something for you to experience. That's something for you to possibly share with a best friend or a confidant, someone who's not going to go back and tell your partner or anybody else. That's something for you to keep to yourself. Because the truth of the matter is, even when you are in a relationship, you can be madly in love with a person. You can be in a very healthy marriage. You can be in a very healthy relationship. You will find other people attractive. There are other people out there that may be your type other than your husband or your wife. And so, that's a thing that's going to happen. And for you to share that with your current romantic partner probably isn't going to feel good. And let's go a step further. When I was younger, I was in relationships where I got a kick out of this. Like, I got a kick out of convincing a man to tell me, and you may have done this too. I got a kick out of dating a guy and having him tell me, oh, do you think that woman's attractive? What do you think about that woman? Do you think she's pretty? Do you think and I would just point out women that we knew, or I'd point out celebrities. And I got a big kick out of that. And I don't do that anymore because why? Why do that? But I used to get a big kick out of that, trying to convince a man to become so comfortable with me that he's going to tell me that he finds other women attractive. And that's not helpful to the relationship. It's just not. And honestly, it was immature of me. Right? It was my way of feeling out a man and what he found attractive, what he didn't. It kind of helped relieve my ego. That's really all it was. So, no, I don't believe romantic partners should be best friends. Not in the sense that, like, I'm telling my best girlfriend all kinds of stuff that I would not tell my partner. I would not tell my husband. I think your partner is a good friend. They are a friend to you. And there are going to be times where you're going to rely on the friendship in your romantic relationship to kind of bridge those gaps where, you're not feeling as romantic, or you're upset with each other, or something has happened. You're going to lean on the friendship. So yes, you most definitely should have a good, healthy friendship with your partner. But when I think of best friend, like, I'm telling them all kinds of stuff, and some of those things may not, feel good for my partner to hear. They may create insecurity in my partner or jealousy in my partner. And why? Why do that? What would the point of that be? Or hurt my partner's feelings? Like, why? And honestly, I don't want someone doing me that way either. Like, that's something that you can keep to yourself. If it's not going anywhere and nothing's coming of it, don't tell me. That's not even something I need to know. So here's the thing. There are things going on within your relationship. You're unhappy about something, or you wish something were different or would change. And so maybe you have tried talking with your partner about this, right? But here's the thing I know, having dealt with many, 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 many couples, is, and it used to shock me when I first would hear this, and now it doesn't. It's just unfortunate. But many couples don't go to each other about things that are important for them to share with each other. They don't make their partner, the person who is directly like the problem, they don't make them aware of what's going on. And so what do? They go outside of their marriage or their relationship and they start talking to everybody else but their partner. Never a good idea. Never a good idea. You must have the courage and the bravery to go directly to your partner, go directly to your husband or your wife, go directly to your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and talk to them using the skills, as best you can, with love and with kindness, about the current issue. Go to them first and try to iron it out. But if you take it outside of your relationship, outside of your marriage, and let me tell you, there are people who are using Facebook and Instagram for this and other social media, or they're talking to anyone who'll listen about what's going on inside of their relationship. And then what happens when you tell anyone who will listen? You get all these conflicting advice and opinions about the situation. And what you don't realize is all of that energy is just coming smack dab at you. You have all of these different opinions or thoughts or feelings coming at you. You have your own thoughts and your own feelings, and nothing will really be solved in a healthy way by doing this. You are completely confused by the time you've done this with 2 or 3 or 4 people. So it's really important that you and your partner keep things in house, and there should be an agreed upon. Here's the thing. You and your partner have got to sit down and come to terms with an agreed upon area, different areas that you agree upon that will not go outside of the relationship. So whatever that looks like to you, for some people that might be sex. Like, please don't talk to other people about our sex life. That might be money. That might be the children or the disciplining of the children. That might be mental health. That might be you all's past, or secrets or whatever. But really sit down and come to an understanding about this. Like, what is off limits? What should we never be talking to another person about in regards to our relationship? And then honor that. Try to honor that, okay? Here is the one caveat I have for this topic, because this is the truth. And this is something that I have finally kind of resolved within myself. The truth is this: human beings need social and moral support. Like, they need to vent. They need people in their life that are trusted confidants, trusted friends. And sometimes, dare I say it, having this person in your life, especially if this person is objective and if this person supports your relationship, it can actually save your relationship to be able to go and talk with this person or vent with this person. Okay, that is my only caveat for this. And perhaps I am unique in that approach, in that, yes, I do believe that probably you and your partner, you all probably each have one person that you do go and talk to about things going on in your relationship. Now, remember, this is after you've talked with your partner. If you still need to vent, if you still need to process, if you still, are like, I just need to run this by someone else, I'm hoping that person, like I said, is mature. That person supports the relationship. That person has good guidance and good common sense. This person has to be someone that's, positive and actually has some wisdom, a certain amount of wisdom. Someone who's walking the talk. Maybe they're in a good, healthy, happy marriage or relationship. And the most important piece, they are a confidant. That means whatever you're telling them stays between you and them. That's important also. Because if you're going to this person, let's say it's just one person and you're going to them, but they're not keeping what you all are talking about between you and them. Okay, now everybody's finding out about it. So my caveat to this is there may be one person, a best friend, right, that you can vent to and talk to about issues in your relationship after you talk with your partner, and you could receive some healthy wisdom, some healthy guidance. Or how about no feedback at all? Just someone who listens and who validates what you're saying, right? And that doesn't mean they agree with it or that, you're right, you're totally right, and your partner's wrong. They're just validating in that, okay, I could see how you would feel that way. Oh, yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, it looks like you're really frustrated. That type of validating. Okay, so that you can get it out, you can feel heard. And then perhaps in the process of doing that, you've kind of counseled yourself. You've kind of come to an understanding just all on your own, just having someone to listen to and bounce that off of. But it is really important that, these are my caveats. So you have this confidant who is, let's say, a best friend. That person can keep what you tell them between you and them. So it is private between the two of you. I prefer that person not be someone of the opposite sex, because now we're just teetering off into a land of, problems. We're really, let's not do that. Let's make it someone of the same sex as you, same gender. Let's also make sure this is not like a parent or a family member that's super close, that they're going to just naturally take your side and, in fact, think poorly of your mate. So we got to be careful about that. So I vote no moms and no dads because, that's your mom and your dad. And they're going to immediately be on your side and take your side. And they may not think too kindly of your partner who they believe is mistreating you. So not a mom or a dad, a confidant or a trusted friend, a best friend who is of the same gender as you, and someone who can, in fact, keep your confidence. So if you're going to have this person, I want you to remember those criteria. That's really, really important. Because honestly, I do believe that not a one of us can be in a relationship, especially for any length of time, and not talk to anybody else about it. I just think that's unrealistic. But just know this, if there is an issue or a concern or a problem, you need to speak with your partner first. But sometimes, even after going to your partner first, and, trying to hash out what's going on, there's still a part of you that's like, man, I've just got to talk with someone about this. Or I'm so frustrated about this. I've just got to vent to someone about this. And so in that case, I am asking that you talk to your confidant. So not everybody, not on social media. I'm talking about that one trusted friend who can actually keep your confidence in whatever you tell them. That's who I'm talking about. So no subliminal messages on social media. That's just, no, don't open that door to allowing people to speculate what you're talking about in your social media posts. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Find a trusted friend or a confidant. And if you cannot, because I'm seeing this more and more, people saying, well, I don't have anybody like that. I just have my family members or cousins, and I know they're not going to keep it safe. They're not going to keep my confidence. Okay, maybe it's time to get a therapist. Maybe it's time to get someone that is paid to keep your confidence. A therapist, a coach. Okay, that may be the person. And they may not even know your husband or your wife. They may not even know your partner. So it's like, okay, I can't, I'm not going to talk to anybody else about them because I don't even know them. But that's something you can look into as well. But I just believe it's unrealistic to think, especially for women, but now I'm seeing it more and more with men, where they too are venting to their guy friends about their wife, about stuff going on in their marriage, because they want to know, is this the norm? Is this what you guys are going through or whatever? I'm seeing more men do it too. But I know women do it. I know we do. But for a long time, I made it a habit to talk with anyone and everyone who would listen. I also talk to my mother, which I'm really working on curbing that. I just talk to people about my relationship. And while I believed I had confidants, I had people who weren't going to share this information with others. The bad news was that if they weren't in a good, healthy place, if they had their own agenda or their own worldview about, the situation I was sharing, I really wasn't getting good, healthy, objective feedback. That is what I know for a fact definitely colored how I felt about my partner, maybe even what I did in my relationship. Energetically, it just didn't feel good. And so it probably made a smaller issue a much larger issue because I was getting all this negative energy around the issue by talking to this person and talking to that person and listening to this person say, oh, that's a huge red flag. Don't put up with it. And listen to this person say, oh, you need to get out now. You need to leave him alone, and you're listening to all that and you're taking it in and you don't know you're up from your down. You don't know what is someone's genuine, kind, I want to save you from hurt and heartache, or if it's their bitter, I'm broken. I went through a divorce based on this very thing. This is exactly how it started for me. Like, we don't know. So do your homework about this. Make sure that the person you choose can be objective, that they can put their dealings with men to the side. That they're in a healthy relationship. That would be helpful. They're in a healthy, happy relationship, not a perfect relationship, but they know the ups and downs of relationships and marriages. So they're not going to just tell you to run at the first sign of trouble. And just make sure that that person is an appropriate person. You're walking a fine line when you're choosing someone of the opposite sex. I mean, we don't know what that other person's agenda is. And so you talking to a person of the opposite sex about what's going on inside of your relationship, no, that's not going to feel good to your partner. That is a level of intimacy that's inappropriate. And it's just not going to feel good. Just don't do it. Choose someone of the same sex as you and make sure that person is a trusted friend, a trusted confidant, and preferably someone who's in a healthy, happy relationship or can be objective. So this tip is so important. And again, I lived it. I lived and breathed this idea of I would take something so small, but because I would run off and I would tell, 5 of my friends and they each had 5 different opinions, by the time I got back to dealing with my partner, it had become this huge thing. And it was not good or healthy for the relationship. So I just this year made a commitment that I am going to choose a confidant, make sure that person is appropriate. But for the most part, I would love it if those talks with my confidant or best friend were few and far between. I would love to be able to hash out things with my partner, pray about it, talk to God about it, talk to my therapist about it, and call it that. Like, that's it. And we work through whatever the concerns or issues are. Because I know firsthand that when you bring this to people or lots of people, it simply builds up this negative energy around what could be a very small thing. So everybody can't be privy to what's going on in your relationship. It is not going to help your relationship. Be very, very cautious about who you share the inner workings of your relationship. That really should be between you and your partner. And again, I'm giving you this one pass, which is the one trusted friend, the best friend, the confidant. Okay. And someone who you know isn't going to tell anyone else. Someone who you know is going to give you wise counsel and is not going to give you bitter counsel or just leave him. The answer to everything is just leave him. That's not what I consider wise counsel. But this is really, really important. I'm seeing this play out in a couple of different relationships more and more. People who are, not going to their partner about their concerns or the problems within the relationship, and then talking to everyone else outside of the relationship. It just isn't going to end well. One of the examples that I give to my couples when they come in, especially my premarital couples, I say, I believe your relationship is like a three-legged stool, right? There is you, there is your partner, and there is God. So there's those three people within your relationship. And imagine those three people are inside of a container, and that container has no doors and no windows. No doors because it isn't meant for anyone to come in or for anyone to go out. When you get married, it is you and your partner and God, and the intention is for that to be until one of you dies. So no one comes in, no one gets out. And then no windows in that container, so that, again, no one can look in and no one can look out. Because imagine if it had doors, if it had windows, yes, one of you could look out and see other people out there, and that could tempt you, or letting people look in and knowing all the inner workings of your relationship. No, it should not be that way. And then no one comes in or goes out. That's the whole infidelity piece. So we don't even want for that to even be a concern. We want to live within this container with our partner, with our husband or wife, and with God. And so pray about it. Pray about some things going on with your spouse. And write letters. I love to write angry letters. Sometimes what I've trained myself to do now is, instead of even talking to a best friend or a confidant, is I will write an angry letter. And sometimes that's enough to kind of get it off my chest. I will vent in that letter. Or I may take it to my therapist. It's something I may talk about in a session and process through it. But I'm really working on this myself. This is something that I believe God has revealed to me in terms of preparing myself to be a wife, is learning how to keep 98% of what goes on in my relationship inside of my relationship. So not even sharing with a confidant or a best friend, and maybe 2% of the time where I just, I need to vent, I need to just get another opinion, or just know that I'm not going crazy about something that happens. But for the most part, I want my partner and I to be able to talk and to hash out things that are bothering the both of us, and to have what I like to call radical honesty. I think I learned that in Mark Manson's book, about having this type of radical honesty where you all can be honest with each other. And think about it like this. There is a really great, there's a really great quote. I'm going to pull it up. I'm actually going to create a Instagram post about this, but I really love this. I loved it when I read it. And it is, let me see if I can find it, but it's all about, just being radically honest and being able to, here it is. You should be able to talk without fear of losing the relationship. Radical honesty delivered with kindness. Yes, I love that. That's something I truly want to embody in my next and last relationship, is that radical honesty delivered with kindness. So we're able to speak in such a way that it's honest, it's our truth, it's delivered in kindness, and it is not going to, we do not have a fear of losing the relationship over it. So that is what I suggest. I try to teach folks about that, how to be radically honest and be kind. I think relationships deepen and they become more intimate when we can be this way with our partner. So I hope this episode was helpful for you. We are getting closer and closer to our 100th episode. So I just wanted to let you know that there will be a 100th episode giveaway. The winner will win a crisp $100 bill. And if you want to enter that giveaway, you're going to follow me on Instagram at betterlovemovement. And you are going to look for the 100th episode giveaway. You are going to follow Better Love Movement. You are going to like that post. You're going to share that post. And you're going to tag someone else in that post. Okay? And on our 100th episode, which should be coming up in a few weeks, I am going to announce the name of that person. And so you really have between now and then, every week, I will create that 100th episode post looking for folks to get in on the giveaway. But go head over to Instagram at Better Love Movement so that you can get entered to win that crisp $100 bill. So thank you so much for listening today. And as always, stay open to love.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. If you are enjoying this podcast, please leave me a 5-star rating and review. Your ratings and reviews help me to continue to bring you more great content. Head on over to YouTube and check out the Better Love Movement channel. There's more video content there, and you can subscribe to be notified when a new video is posted. If you have a question that you would like to have answered on the podcast or in a YouTube video, please send it to me at info@betterlovemovement.com. You can also connect with me directly on the Magnify app to have your dating and relationship questions answered. That's MAGNIFI, and it's available on iOS and Android. You get your first 5 minutes for free. So give me a call and let's chat.